We're live. Hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with go-go dancer, aerialist, and pole dancer Blaine Petrovia. How you doing today, sexy?
What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much. I'm good. I am in a good headspace, surprisingly. I've not because I thought it was gonna be bad, but I purposely like overscheduled myself, so I've been busy as fuck. Like,
At work, at work.
yeah.
I was gonna say surprisingly. What do you mean by surprisingly?
Well, this is the thing. Let's see. This week, this is my third interview out of five. Yeah.
Busy.
Yes.
We love to see it.
Yes. Work. So, where are you originally from?
Born and raised here in New York.
Ah, so lucky.
Eh, I don't know if luck is what I would describe it as, but it's a good place to be.
I wish I lived in New York. So, I am born and raised in Florida, and
Where in
I,
Florida?
I'm originally from. I live at home now. I'm originally from South Florida. I live about an hour north of West Palm Beach.
Okay.
So that was nice. I ran away to Orlando for 4 years, which was where I discovered drag and truly discovered myself. But when I had to move back home, I'm like, I'm just so ready. My plan is to get out of Florida this year. My plan is to move to Detroit, and like,
Okay.
it's like I cannot wait. I'm hoping by summer to like be gone and like in Detroit. And people say why? People always tell me they're like, why Detroit? I'm like, I'm a musician, baby. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have an album to put out. Like, Detroit's where I can afford to like live and put out this album and not go broke.
What kind of music? It's like a jazz city or whatever, right?
Detroit is actually surprisingly like open to like it's very much it has like a rich history. Like, yes, jazz is part of it, but it's also got like hip hop culture and a little bit of like old Motown sounds.
Mo-
My sound is not any of those, but it's like that's why I think I'll fit in. I describe my sound as like electro pop rock and B. So it's
okay.
like a little bit electro, a little bit rock, a little bit pop, a little bit R&B. It all depends on like what I'm in the mood for when I make a beat.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah.
I heard a few snippets. I was scrolling through your page.
Ah, cool. Did you like some of it? Like,
Yeah, it's giving like fun in the club.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
even with some of those songs, the great thing is like I describe it kind of as a chromatica art pop like vibe. It's like I can make these like really happy upbeat songs and have like some of the most depressing lyrics ever. Like, but it's beautiful.
Oh, so you're saying you're like the English Bad Bunny.
Kind of, yeah. I'm a little bit familiar. I know who Bad Bunny is, but yes, Bad Bunny. Wow, Bad Bunny's hot. Like,
And you know what? It wasn't always that way though. Like it kind of just snuck up on us.
yeah,
When he first came out though, I was very much like, I don't know about this. But then like just this last year, I was like, how did Bad Bunny become the hottest man on planet Earth? Like
I know it's crazy when people have those like transformations where it's like them, and then you're all of a sudden you're like that was like what was it? It was like what's his name? Dan Benson, who used to be like this nerdy guy on like Wizards of Waverly Place, and all of a sudden he just like has this OnlyFans, like all these guys are just constantly subscribing to. It's like,
oh yeah. That's so
yeah,
funny. I was just watching a thing about him too. It was like how he waited so long for the show to come back and it's having like a reoccurrence or whatever.
resurgence, yeah,
A resurgence, yes, there's a word.
yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, we're not having you back though, because you're on OnlyFans."
See, it's like, I don't know. Maybe this is just me being like pro sex worker, pro all this. I'm like, what's the big fucking deal? Like,
Right.
it's like, so
I
what? He
mean,
does that.
I could understand to an extent, especially if it's like a Disney Channel show. I'd be like, oh, you know what? Maybe.
But this is the thing. It's not like so theoretically this resurgence of Wizards of Waverly Place, it's all people in their like late like early 20s to like early 30s anyway. They're going to be watching this show a lot. It's like, yes, they're going to have kids, but it's like we all know what's happening. Like it's not like anyone's going to see them and think like, "Oh wow, this person does sex work." It's like again, half the gays subscribe to him.
Yeah.
Not me because like this is my view. Some people like get your life. My view is I only want to support people who are queer, who do that work. That's just me.
The gay dollar.
Yes.
I agree.
That's why like yeah, minute I find out somebody's straight, I unsubscribe. Like unfollow. Yes, like no work.
I'm in support of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, because this is the thing. You're a queer entertainer. Like, you don't want somebody taking your money who's just sitting there for like they'll come in for like their like 6 like 7 hour shift, whatever, to like work, and then all of a sudden they get to go home to their fucking wife. Like,
Oh no, and it
fuck,
happens a lot. It's very, very common, especially like go-go dancing. It's
yes.
half, maybe even like a little more than half of the boys are all straight. Like they all have fucking wives and like 4 kids, and it's like this is so annoying.
I know. Mess. So, what was it like for you growing up as a kid?
It was fun. You know what? I'll say it was fun. Being in the city, it was very much like do your own thing, like live your own life. So we were wild. We were wild kids. I remember from being like the early like elementary years, I was very much like a nerd, I guess you could say. I was like into homework. I loved to like study and shit. And then I want to say like 11 or 12 around that time, like puberty time, obviously.
Yes.
Um it all changed. I was like, I don't want to be smart anymore. I just want to hang out. So that's when I started like smoking and drinking and stuff when I was like 12, 13 years old.
Wow. See, that's the city, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
s- growing up in like the suburbs, that was never. I was kind of that nerdy kid, and then like it was like right about when I moved out. So like I moved out late. Like most people moved out when they're like 18. I didn't move out till I was like 20, like
Oh no.
almost 21. And that's when like
Honestly,
I
milk for all it's worth. If you could do it,
yeah,
do
I mean I just had to go. Like as a kid, I was kind of the nerd too, but like I always it was I became like quote unquote cooler when people started finding out that like I wrote music because I wrote my first song when I was 14 years old. So like once people started knowing that, all of a sudden everyone wanted to pay attention to me. But I was always in my mind, even before I became out, it's like you just think like, oh my god, you want to be Lady Gaga. Like you have like the visions of I want to wear this and I want to wear that. It's like it was weird like how I say I accidentally found drag because it's like when I think about it, I'm like, all this shit you were thinking of that you were afraid to do, this is all drag, bitch. Like it's like I can't believe you didn't put two and two together.
it. Right.
But it's like now, actually, wait, let's go into that first. So, what was it like for you coming out?
So I grew up in the age of not really having to come out, and I, like, don't know how to really explain that story, I guess, because, like, my parents were, like, never like, "Hey, are you gay?" And, like, nobody ever was like, "We need to hear you say these words." It was just, like, an understanding, I guess. I've always just been,
Yeah.
like, really myself, like, I was never like, "Oh, I gotta pretend to be straight. Oh my god, I have to be so masculine," and I don't know, whatever, right? I just kind of was always who I am. So I don't think it like needed to happen. And then also like literally like the age of it was like gay was so accepted by then and nobody was like, don't be a faggot.
See, I mean, that's beautiful. I wish I had that experience. Like, I was like right when I came out, like I was like right on the cusp of when more people were starting to accept it. Except I was raised Catholic, so like having the religious upbringing was what gave me some problems. I will say overall, I had an easy coming out and a hard coming out. So like family was easy. So like I only had to come out to one parent because I came out 4 months after my mom died. So it's only having to come out to my dad. Then I have an older sister who was super accepting. And then I found out in November she came out as well. So it's like now
Woo.
that makes sense. Where's the where it's like
Oh shit.
I
Okay,
want
so
to
who was the gay parent? Which one of them? It was your mom, was it?
uh it might have been my well, this is the thing. To base on stereotypes, my sister played softball in high school, and so did my mom. So like maybe I don't know.
Did I lose you?
No. I'm trying to figure out. No. I got it. I was thinking of worse thinking next. Okay, so yeah. So that was the good part. The bad part was I came out to a youth minister at the church, which is a mistake because I told him about this performance idea I had with like a knife and how I practiced stabbing myself because I'm dramatic, clearly.
Drama. We love the drama.
Yes. And he left the room. He came back in about 10 minutes later. He said, okay, you have one of two options. Either you're coming with me or I'm calling the cops. Now, in hindsight, I would have let that motherfucker call the cops, like, because they wouldn't have done anything. I stupidly went with him.
Oh
So
no.
he took me to get a psych eval.
Oh no.
They had told me I had passed it. But I remember being on the phone with like my dad, like being like, because we were at a hospital. I'm like, yeah, just come back here and get me. I'm all done. And then all of a sudden, I had a cop yell at me. He's like, get off the phone. I'm thinking like, what the fuck? And then
Yeah.
they stuck, yeah. And then they stuck me in in a hospital room, and for 5 hours they just left me in there. They didn't tell me a single thing. And then that's when they told me they had put me on a suicide hold, and they transported me from the hospital to a mental institution where I spent 64 hours before I
So
got released.
so religion and Florida both came together, conspired.
Yes. And then the whole his thing was, I thought you were suicidal. That argument went away when he and a priest got me in a room and set me up with a therapist to pray the gay away.
Work. And how
Yeah.
did it go?
It went so well. I'm totally straight. Like
I don't like men's no more.
no, as I say, I thought it worked for about 6 hours, and I saw a guy I was into. I saw his ass and got hard, and I'm like, nope, failed.
That's hilarious.
Yes, I love it. Like this is the thing. Everyone's like, there's so many people who like try and run from all the like tragic things that have happened in their life. And maybe this is just me being a musician. I face them head on. It's
Period.
like, so what? I was locked in a mental institution. So what? I've been suicidal. So what? I've been raped and sexually assaulted. So what? You just gotta face it in, put it in the music, and be what so many. I feel like a lot of straight people, or not a lot of straight people, a lot of gay people are afraid to do, which is be honest, speak your truth, be vulnerable,
Sometimes you just
and
gotta go through it.
yeah, and like I wouldn't. And some people like with all that stuff, they're like, but wouldn't you want to change it? I'm like, no. Honestly, you don't become a strong bitch having life easy.
It's true.
Okay. So, what made you want to become an aerialist?
Um, what did I don't think I even want to anymore. I don't think I want to currently. No, it's all so this also sounds really stupid, but everything that I've done, I've always just kind of like fallen into. Like I was never like, oh, this is the plan, this is what I'm gonna do. This is the plan, this is what I'm gonna do, blah 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 blah. It was all very much like, oh well, I guess I do this now. Like I was dancing and like all of this stuff my whole life. I was always in like dance classes and I did gymnastics and I did sports and all of these things. But like dance was the only thing that I ever stuck with. And then I started at 16 was dancing back up for like drag queens and stuff and it was really fun. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I think I could do this professionally. And I started dancing with a company and I was doing like we did like music videos and like opening acts for like local artists and we would do shows and stuff. And then I was like, wait, I kind of hate this. I don't want to like be in a chorus line for some people. It's like how can I do my own thing? And that's when I started dancing back up for drag queens and they were like, "Hey, do you want to like go dance?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I don't know what this means." I was literally only 16/17 at this point. And then I just like fell into go-go dancing and then during go-go dancing is when I like started dancing in other places in the city. And I was dancing at this club that just happened to have a pole and there was like nobody actually doing anything with the pole. It kind of was just like risque decor. Like nobody actually knew what the fuck they were doing on the thing. And I just started doing like random little like spins and stuff. It was like super basic shit, but like nobody knew. Everybody was like, "Oh shit, that was dope." They were like, "Yo, that's crazy." And then I just kind of like started teaching myself how to do stuff on the pole. And excuse me, I just ate.
Yeah.
I just ate, so I'm like I'm tired, but I'm also like let's go, let's go. But so I started teaching myself on the pole, and then I like got really good at it, and I like realized that I really liked it. So I stayed doing that, and then through doing that, I like fell into performing in like a theater space. So which was when I started dancing at House of Yes, and I was like a stripper for the longest time that I didn't realize that this could be like a featured act on a stage. And I never thought that I was like good enough to do that. But when I started working at this space called House of Yes, it was a circus space slash performance venue. And that's when I started learning how to do like all of the aerial and stuff. And I moved, so I grew up in Harlem, but then I moved to Brooklyn and I lived with like a circus company, like what you would think, like people in a big ass warehouse space. Everybody had their own rooms, quote unquote rooms, because it was all partitioned off by like curtains and stuff. And it was like ten of us, not even 10 of us, maybe like
Wow.
8 of us. Like very old school circus style. Like you all lived and worked and trained and stuff in the same space. And yeah, and then I was like, you know what? What if we did this pole dancing thing in the air? And this was at the time when pole dancing wasn't as mainstream as it is now. And aerial pole wasn't really a thing, and I had only seen like one or two other people do it in the world, literally in the world. And we have a friend who does like fabricating like apparatus and stuff because circus. You if you're in,
Yes.
someone who does something somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We had this friend weld a pole with an I-beam on top, which is the thing that hooks into the ropes and stuff. So we welded this thing to be able to rig it in the air, and it was just a pole that was like a piece of junk, and we like cut it in half and rigged it in the air. And like in retrospect, it probably wasn't the safest thing on earth
No.
because it literally was just like. And the fucked up part about it was two pieces of pole that was put together by a joint in the middle that just expanded. So it was like you just twist it until it doesn't move anymore. And once I started booking gigs with that pole, there was like 3 times that the pole fell apart in the middle.
Wow.
And but I got very lucky. I got very lucky because both it was about 3 times, but 2 times happened in the air. And the first time it happened, I was only like 15 feet, not even 15 feet, maybe like 10 feet, which isn't very far at all for something to fall apart.
Yeah.
And I just stayed on the top part. I was like, I got very lucky. But then the second time, I like was going up into the air and I was holding onto the bottom part and I could feel it slip. So I like hurried and grabbed the top part and it just fell off as I was going and it was like 20 feet in the air or something.
That is crazy. First of all, I get that thing of to your beginning of like not wanting to be a chorus person. I was as a singer, but I was also the one who used to get like the dagger eyes from the choir teacher because like I would be doing vocal runs as like I naturally do because of
Yeah.
course in my mind I feel like I am Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera. So like
Yes.
I just and he used to stare daggers at me. I'm thinking I'm like a I understand why you think this is annoying because I'm not saying they're doing like classical fucking style as you want, but it's B, it's like I am a big bitch. Like I am fucking 6'3". Like my voice projects out. Like
Uh, they were like, "Hey, you.
yeah.
Hey, you doing all that? Calm it down."
I didn't have to. He just like would stare and like I knew it was at me. It's not like I thought like, oh my god, he's staring at somebody beside me. No, I knew it was me. Like, but my thing was just like probably you knew. It's like I knew I was never meant for that. Like I always knew that like the idea of like being backup for somebody, it's like no, I got a powerful voice. As I was explaining to somebody, there's like the people who hold the microphones like right there. No, I hold a microphone right here. Y'all are going deaf. I like have to hold it like out here.
Oh yeah, no, I knew even like as a kid, so it was like I never even wanted to do anything normal. Like I remember when they would ask you when you're young, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And all the kids are like, oh, I want to be a policeman, or I want to be a fireman, or I want to be a lawyer, or whatever, right? I was like, I want to be famous, bitch. From the jump, I was like, I don't want to do no regular shit.
See, that's interesting because it's like, well, actually, no, I'm jumping over one thing that I just thought of. So you said you started go-go dancing at 16. My first question that came to my head when you say that is, how did you legally do that?
So I have an older brother who is about 2.5 years older than me, which is just enough that we looked a little bit alike. And I was just able to use his ID to get into these places.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I know New York's liberal, but I know it ain't that liberal. Like,
No, 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 no. So like I guess technically you're supposed to be 21 to work in these places, right? But there's always exceptions and ways around rules if you really want them to be. So they would be like, "Oh, you're like 18, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, yes, I am. My brother is 18 and I got his
Yeah.
ID. So yes, I am 18."
See, I feel like if I had lived in a city, I would have been that person who tried to like get the fake ID to perform in places because it's like I didn't start performing in drag till I was like 21, but it's like let's be clear, I was the bitch who was going to American Idol auditions at 15 years old. Like there was no doubt in my mind that like I wanted to be a performer. I just didn't know that like I wanted to be a drag musician because actually when I was a kid that wasn't even a thing. Like
Oh yeah.
because
I mean, even now, it's still like a really relatively like new thing, right? Like I know of one all drag band, and I don't know. They're like the only one that I know in the world, honestly.
well, it's because I was trying to do the stuff like in some ways with like my start, it was great that people like Adore Delano had already like kind of started doing music because it's like that was more my thing because I looked at who was it? My thing was I never wanted to be a Britney. Like I loved Britney. That's not my style. Like I'm a huge Gaga fan. I'm very much like am Gaga all the way. That like not being afraid to like unapologetically be you and like somehow you don't intentionally cause controversy, but when shit happens,
Shit
shit
happens.
shit happens. Yeah, I literally had somebody so I was on a Twitch stream and I was in like a t-shirt dress a few weeks ago and like I went to go like bend over to like change the song and like I was wearing a t-shirt dress and like a thong underneath and somebody tried to like I accidentally showed my ass and somebody was like, "Oh my god, you did that on purpose." I'm like, "No, bitch." It's like sorry you saw my ass. I'm not gonna fucking apologize for it. Like,
But also, so what if you did?
yeah, that's why I deleted their comment. I'm like, I'm not listening to this bullshit. Like, so okay. So I guess what was it like for you the first time you performed?
We got to get a little more specific on that question. What do you mean, like
Uh,
professionally or just like in general?
uh, okay, fair. We're gonna say let's go professionally.
Professionally, I did my first paid professional gig when I was 16. It was with this dance company, and I was doing hip hop dancing at the time. So it was like so stupid. And it was the opening of an art show in like a big festival. So it was like really intimidating. And admittedly, I'm not the best choreography dancer because
Right.
I don't really like it. But I was really, really nervous, and I just remember thinking, okay, if we can get through this, then it will get better in time. And I just remember thinking, like, oh, but what if it doesn't get better in time? Because I just remember we went through like a month of rehearsals for that show to happen, and it was actually on an audition that we were going to use because we had built this thing, this big choreography. It was like an 8-minute piece. There was like a bunch of different transitions in and out of it, and it was going to be used as an audition to open for Rihanna.
Wow.
And there was like a lot of pressure to like perform in a big venue for the first time, but then also the pressure of it like being an audition was like
Yeah.
Uh, it didn't feel good. So I'll say, I guess I'll say I didn't like it. And
Yeah,
I think that's what added to like not wanting to be part of like a group thing also. Because I knew like if I myself would have gone out on stage alone and just like did what I could, I would have felt much better because I can always have control of me in like what I'm doing. But having control of me and what I'm doing in conjunction with other people is
yeah.
not my strong suit.
I mean, yeah. As I said, to that point of being in choir, we've understood that like I'm the same way. I will say my first time performing, I actually have one of the rare drag stories because my first time was actually performing in a straight bar.
Oh, cute.
Because like I would do open mic nights as a musician, and like I would be the like one drag electronic act among these bunch of fucking bros who would go in there with like their guitar and do the same fucking shit like all the time. Is so boring.
Everyone just singing Oasis.
Yes, like it was literally that kind of stuff. So I used to sign myself up first, and like I would again have these like electronic beats thumping through this like tiny little bar, and like I used to be like energetic and like yell into the microphone when I was on like in between like my first and second song and be like, "How the fuck you doing tonight, Orlando?" And like just wake some motherfuckers up. And like it was good for
Give
the
the
most
energy.
part. Yes. It was good for the most part, except there was one night where like so the week before I had ended my set by screaming motherfucker into the microphone and then going into a dance break and then like of one of my songs, and then like the following week the owner like literally just came around as I was sitting down on my table. She's like, "Yeah, there's old people in the audience this week. Don't do that." I'm thinking I'm not allowed to swear in a fucking bar.
What
Like
time
what
was it?
7 p.m. Nonetheless, like that's still it's like I don't give a fuck. It's a bar.
The fucking bar.
And like there's also a comedian that performed that night who did like this joke about like a stripper sliding down the stripper pole with her pussy, and they're like, "Yeah, don't say that joke." I'm thinking, I'm like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to like do for these people if you're not gonna let us do what we do?
Literally. Isn't that the point of an open mic?
Yeah, it's like, but I was like, fine, whatever. I won't swear to offend the old people.
The good Christians.
Yeah, it's like, and my thing is like, at some point I ended up like ending there and like going to perform in a queer space because I was doing two shows in one night. As I said, leaving my house at like 7 p.m. and not getting home. I know this is early for like entertainers, but this is a long ass night. Not getting home till like 12:30 in the morning, which yes, it's an early night, but that's a long night to be like on and like only getting like 15 minutes to literally leave one venue and go to another and like have to drive across town. Like it was insane, but if anyone from Detroit is watching, I can do it again if I have to. I'd prefer not to, but I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I live that life. I'm a 3 gig type of day kind of girl.
See,
I'll,
but like I feel
I'll
like
start like
in
7 p.m. I'll do my 2 numbers in a show, go directly to another show, 8 to 10, go directly to nightlife and do until 4 a.m. And I'm just like, so I get it.
do you ever feel like do you ever feel well, I mean obviously at some point you probably feel like burnout from doing that, but like
Oh. God.
But it's also you have to do it because it's like if performing is all that you do and it's like your creative outlet, it's like I don't perform much now, not for lack of wanting to perform. It's the fact of like Florida is very clicky, where it's like if you're not going to conform to the way that either of there's two drag houses in my area. It's like if you don't conform to the way they want to do things, you don't get to perform. And I'm like, it's like I'm sorry that theoretically I would be one of the younger queens here because y'all are in your 40s, and like I can come in and sing live and do an hour and a half, or not an hour and a half, like 45 minutes to an hour, and like all you could do is your cute little 1-2 numbers. Because who was it? My drag sister's having the conversation of she's like, okay, if you want to perform around here, you have to lip sync and you have to wear a gown. And the person I am is like, why the fuck would I do that? Like,
Oh, giving pageant girls.
yeah, it's like I'm not a pageant girl. I'm the bitch y'all are jealous of. Like,
Oh,
I'm
I lived in Miami during the pandemic, and I
yeah,
was very surprised to see how clicky like Florida really is, and I was like, cool. And it just goes for like all of nightlife in general. It was like there was like two separate groups,
yeah.
and it was like you were either one or the other and nowhere in between. And I was like, oh fuck, okay, well I guess I'm gonna go home to New York.
See, the thing is, that's something that I know from like being able to make contacts with people in Detroit. Detroit's not like that. Detroit very much will accept you if you're a new entertainer, you're from out of town, and it's like this is where I belong. Because it's like I would feel that way. It's like if somebody's talented, I'm gonna say somebody's talented. Now, if you suck, I'm not gonna tell you that you're talented, which is why I can never live in LA. But it's like because I did think about it for a brief time, and I'm like, and I'm and then I thought I'm like, you're gonna get yourself kicked out of every party in 3 days if you live in LA because it's the well, it's the East Coast way.
Oh
We
yeah,
won't sit there and tell you that you're like amazing if you suck.
it's never gonna happen for me.
Because it's like I see what is it? Rapper, there's a go-go dancer and rapper out in LA, and I'm thinking, bitch, you can't rap on the beat. How the fuck you supposed to be a rapper who can't rap on the beat? Like, and you got and you made a song with three go-go dancers who are out bodying you on your own fucking track. Like,
I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna need you to spill that tea.
you okay? You want me? I've already said who it is on here, so I might as well just say.
Let's hear
Okay,
it.
so there's a as I said, his name is Tokyo, and the song I'm talking about. So he has this song called Coochie, which he put on his EP, his most recent EP, and he had as I said, three three go go boys who never like rapped a day in their lives. Again, outbodying him on the song, and he's been rapping for 4 years. I'm thinking, bitch,
Get it together.
it's like, and there are people out here like there are talented people praising him. I'm like,
Work.
yeah, it's like I don't know. Like as I said, that thing of it's like yes, I'd want to be the person who's like, listen, I'm gonna tell you exactly what a record producer would tell you with this song, and be like, I wouldn't sign you if you were the last artist on earth. Like,
Damn, the last one.
I know, like some people like you have to be nicer than that. It's like, okay, fine, I will be nicer than that. If I wanted somebody to have hearing loss, I'd recommend their music. Like
If I wanted to annoy my worst enemy, I would send them your tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna help when we get to the last question about. Anyway, I'm not skipping that far ahead. So okay, so do you get a greater fulfillment from performing as like well, I guess as a professional dancer or as like a go-go?
Um. So like a theater versus stripper.
Yes.
Um. Honestly, they like they give me each very different things.
Okay. I
But
mean,
I think if I had like if someone put a gun to my head and said, "Hey, you got to choose one of these," I would have to say stripping.
okay. I mean, based on looking at your profile, I'm not surprised about that. It's like that's I mean, I kind of get that. When I if I were to like scout for like backup dancers, I'd rather hire go-go boys. Like cuz cuz this is my like very simple thing, and like a lot of people are like they like would want to look for the most talented. Mine's very simple. If you don't have a fat ass, you're not going to be my backup dancer. Like
Work. Easy criteria.
yeah, it's like somebody's like, but don't you need them to have talent? It's like, listen, you could have a choreographer teach them exactly kind of what I want, but it's like fit the aesthetic. Like,
Well, I guess this is why I'm so torn between it, is because like at risk of sounding arrogant, I am very talented. So it's like theater performances and like doing like regular shows, quote unquote,
yeah,
like cabarets and stuff. Like, yeah, it's fun and it's great and it like fills me somehow. But I'm also like a dirty slut that loves money. So yeah, I would say definitely stripping over theater.
yeah. And first of all, saying okay, this is where it's gonna be like touchy crossing the line. I would say this: saying that you're talented is fine, at least in my view. Like,
If you can back it up.
yeah, very true. It's if you can back it up. It's like, but being like timid, like first of all, you know this is a go-go. You have to be so confident when you're out there, not because of the fact that you want to be like arrogant and think that you're better than everybody. It's the fact of if you are very timid out there,
They don't
you
want it.
correct you can correct me if I'm wrong about this. That just gives motherfuckers who want to take advantage of a go-go dancer more reason to take advantage of a go-go dancer.
Well, I think it's also as a male dancer, if you're like shy and timid, and this is what I've noticed, I've been in this fucking game for like 10 years now. If you're like timid or like shy or whatever, and I've danced all over the country, all over the world really, and like seeing guys and how they interact with the crowd differently, it's very like if you're not like a confident person, they don't care. They don't want you. So it's like you kind of have to have a bit of an air of arrogance. Like you have to borderline that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as a performer's perspective, I can kind of get that too, because it's like being in this. Let's see. You said 10 years. I'm coming in at 8. Yeah.
Can you hear them in
Yeah.
the hallway? Is that too loud?
Um, yeah, I can definitely hear them, but it's like if that's the only spot you got, I mean, like
You want me to tell them to shut the
that's
fuck? Cause I'll do it. I don't give a fuck about these hosts. I'll tell them to shut the fuck up.
if you think you can go ahead and do that, girl, go ahead.
Anyways, okay.
Yeah. Smart. Well, believe me, this is not the craziest experience. I once had somebody do an interview on a porn shoot, like in a porn studio. So, like, literally, they were like just like talking to me, and then all of a sudden they were like trying to be serious, and all I would do is like just heard people fucking in the background, and it's like, for, for me, when I listen to this is because this will also come out as an audio version too. It is so fucking funny to like listen there and then like hear somebody be serious and you just hear like two guys fucking in the background. Like
You're like, oh, oh, yeah.
I loved it. So to answer this, would I rather want to do my thing is like I guess I can answer this. Would I rather do independent or be corporate? And for me, independent's better because it's like the minute you're gonna sit there and be like corporate, you're gonna be like, okay, so again, going back to the dress thing, like I dress half fucking naked in drag. Like I don't give a shit. Like somebody's like, it came during the pandemic. I was like basically like thinking because I had this vision of wearing bodysuits and all that, and my first thought was, well, you're not skinny, and then the second thought is like, but you can't think like that. It's like fuck it, you're not skinny. It's like your body is your body. Like
How to use your fucking body.
yeah, and it's like as problematic as Lizzo is, like she literally is the one who paved the way for bigger bitches to like be able to wear like nothing while performing.
You know what's funny?
And I love that.
We were watching the Grammys the other night, and I was like, wait, is Lizzo still canceled?
I mean,
I don't honestly, I'm pro Lizzo. I love her. And I don't know. I think we can forgive her.
well, I mean, if anything, you're a dancer, so like if you're willing to forgive Lizzo, then maybe we should, because that's. I mean, granted, it wouldn't happen to you, because like,
I mean, it might, but I would go along with it. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna eat that banana out of that pussy. You see, so I'm kind of on a different stance, so I can see how someone more conservative would be like, "Oh no, don't eat a banana out of a vagina." Meanwhile, I'm like, put some syrup on that shit too. Let's go.
see, that is, but that's literally to being like extremely conservative. See, I grew up during the time where like everyone was like shocked when Janet Jackson like speaking to the Super Bowl, which was
Oh, and her
of
titty
course,
came.
yeah, when her tit came out, I'm like, I look at that now, I'm like, what's the big fucking deal? It's like there was no deal, and it's like she got blamed for that when it's like, but she was the one who exposed her own breasts. Y'all let Justin Timberlake slide because he's a fucking man,
A white
and
man.
like a white man who like sat there and like cried to the executive at CBS. This is
You
why I
can't tell
know.
me, can't tell me that was not orchestrated. I refuse to believe that was not orchestrated.
I think it was orchestrated, but I do honestly think something went wrong. I will. I'm in that camp.
I mean, but like the lighting cue of when it happened was too accurate. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because something was supposed to happen. She like they were supposed to tear something off, and she had like a lace thing underneath that
Oh,
apparently
so
he
it just
didn't
went a
dress.
little far, is what you think?
Yeah, but
Great.
as I said, like with that, and my thing is like national TV and like networks. I already know that. Like, I have a concept for like a reality show, like a singer songwriter show, and I'm like, put my ass on HBO, like, because the minute you put me on CBS, they're gonna have to censor half the show, and like,
Put me on the late night HBO.
yeah, I do. I love HBO. I love
Give me the old Sex in the City time slot.
yes, Sex in the City, every gay's fantasy. So okay, where am I? Oh, so how have you reacted when someone's inappropriately touched you while go-go dancing?
That's a tough one too. It's very as dancers, as spicy dancers of the night, we definitely live by like a different set of rules as to what is inappropriate. And I think it definitely varies by person. But fuck, what is the craziest thing? I've choked a guy out before. I've had it was in a bar in Buffalo, actually. Buffalo, New York.
Wow.
It was at a bar, and there's like the setup is there's a stage with a long runway, and then the two risers, I guess you could call them, are out to the
Yeah.
side, and then on the two risers they have poles on each side. And there's one that's in the corner of the room, and it goes literally in a corner, and there's like
Yeah.
nowhere to go. But then the other side is open, and it's like you can have people all the way around. And I was on the one in the corner where there was nowhere really to go, and this guy, actually, it was like a group of people. So this girl was putting like $1 in my underwear, and we were all having fun. It was like a moment where like, haha, oh my god, so much funny. And like the next girl came over and like put it like into my underwear and like did a full like grab and scooping thing. And I was like, fine, that's fine, whatever. But then the guy came along, and he tried to put it like, I don't know how to show you this without. So say I was like bent over in front of them, and they were like putting it into my like waistband, right? He
Right.
tried to go through the underneath part and like by my balls and like tried to like put it inside of my actual asshole. And I just remember thinking, what the fuck? And I turned around, and like it was the most natural reaction of all time. Cause like I felt him touch my asshole, and I turned around, and without even thinking, I just backhanded the fuck out of him. And the riser was up enough that like he was leaning over, but I was in a position that all I had to do was like take 2 steps down towards him. So when I turned around and slapped him, he got stunned and stood straight up, and I went down and grabbed him in my elbow pit and just took him straight to the floor. I
I
think
mean,
that might be the only time that I've ever had like a true like reaction to that though.
there was one night I remained calm during this. Like a lot of people were shocked that I remained calm during this, but like so I was like sitting I was sitting in a place without a backstage, and I was like in between numbers. I was waiting for other people to perform, and I had some drunk fucking asshole literally is like, I want to see you without your wig, and literally like ripped my wig off my head.
No.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, baby, you lucky you got me in the right mood tonight. Because if not, I would be untying this platform shoe and it'd be going right upside your head.
Don't touch my fucking face. Don't touch my fucking hair.
Yeah. It's like I'm sitting here minding my own business and you're sitting here like purposely causing trouble.
It's men. Men don't know how to act.
Yeah, it's like, because this is the thing, as I've always said with go go dancers, even with somebody I knew, even if they were like, their ass happened to look really good that day, like and is really hot, seeing them like dance and all this stuff. Even if I was just like touch their ass, I'm gonna ask their permission. It doesn't matter if I fucking know somebody or not. Like, if I feel like touching your ass, it'd be like, can I touch your ass? And if you say yes or no, I will respect your decision.
I love that. Yeah, we love consent. Consent is sexy as fuck. But like I said, like strippers, we live by a different set of rules. So I think if you give me money for touching my ass and you don't ask, like that's okay.
Yeah,
But if you're trying to reach inside of my actual, like literally inside of me, you better have at least more than a 20 in that hand.
because it's like, first of all, I love because some people think it's cute. It ain't cute. It ain't cute to grab somebody's. It's not cute to like finger somebody's hole. It's not cute to grab somebody's dick. Like,
It's crazy.
it's annoying.
Like, don't forget, I'm still a fucking person.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the one thing I feel like doing this podcast has taught me. It's like, obviously, go-go dancers are people, like in the back of your head, you know that, but it's like,
Like they're
I
serving,
don't.
like they're serving the fantasy hard as fuck for sure. But like,
Yeah,
let's not forget that this is still a person.
and it's like, I want to humanize people, because it's like, maybe if, first of all, a lot of people think go-go boys are stupid, like,
We are.
over. You are not helping my case, by the way. I'm trying to make you all seem somewhat intelligent. Like,
No, don't humanize us. Don't humanize us. We're just dumb, slutty boys.
way to set the movement behind like
Yep,
10 fucking years. Like,
I got you. Consider me the No, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. Never mind. You about to catch me in a real problematic mood right now.
he's okay. So Blaine's basically admitting he's Paris Hilton. He's Paris Hilton on a stage. Like,
I was gonna say the Lindsay Lohan. Consider me the Lindsay Lohan of Go-Go's.
well, at least you're natural. At least from what I know. Maybe you're not.
Can you read it?
I cannot read it. No.
It says "fan me off" from the fucking Renaissance. We had VIP. We did the Club Renaissance tickets, so we were right around the fucking stage.
Yeah.
Gave us this swag bag with like there's like a little book in there. There was like a hat and this fan, and there was like another thing in there. It was really cool.
See, I'm not gonna say what I've said about. Well, okay, I didn't even say anything bad about Beyonce. I said I like Beyonce. Don't get me wrong, but like,
Okay.
my thing was, when I talked about Renaissance, everyone, like, I didn't get the giant obsession with Renaissance. Like, I love Beyonce, but what has Beyonce honestly done for the queer community?
You know what? I'm gonna be on the opposite end. I was never really a big Beyonce fan until I went to the Renaissance tour. And now, unfortunately, I will definitely have to say I think I'm part of the Bayhive. She's one of the biggest artists in the world, like undisputedly one of the biggest artists in the fucking world. She is the celebrity to the celebrities. And to have someone with such a platform lend that to the queer community is like, I know it's not the first time it's ever happened, but in the day and age that we're in, to have that happen is like, yeah, I love her. I love her for that.
See, this was the argument that I made to somebody where it's like, when people's like have this giant obsession with Gaga, I got it. You had Born This Way, you had all of this. It's like Gaga really like went in
Oh yeah.
and like
She
I
was
said
like
like
she's like, I'm for the gays. And that was it.
yeah. Whereas like, but okay, here's what I will say: if you had to trap me in a room and say choose between Beyonce and Taylor Swift, without a doubt, I'm choosing Beyonce. Like,
I was gonna say, don't say what I think you're gonna say.
no, no, this is my opinion on Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has some decently good songs with having mediocre talent.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. Like, going back to the Super Bowl, like, my whole thing was somebody said, like, because I said, I thought Usher was a bad choice. I was like, I'm the person who says, like, I feel like with the NFL, for every time they get a good act, they have to get a shitty act the following year. Because it's like you had Rihanna last year, and then you had Usher. Like, don't get me wrong, I watched it. It wasn't bad, but it's not. It's not a Rihanna. It's not a Gaga. It's not a Katy Perry. It's not a Madonna. It's not like. It's just down the road. I literally came up with a show that like I feel would have been so much better. I call it the show of like semi-talent slash talented people. So you get like Ashley Tisdale, Paris Hilton, and Heidi Montag, and put them all on a stage, like, and have that be the halftime show. It'd be the gayest thing ever. But
Not
again, it's
Ashley Tisdale.
she's the somewhat talented person, to be clear.
I'm fucking screaming. Damn. Shout out to her surgeon though, for real.
Her surgeon.
Yes, you see her new nose?
I have not seen her new nose. No.
They did what had to be done, and I'm proud of them.
So you're just sitting there being like, you can't have a huge nose. Like, I mean, I get it. I get it. As I said, if you're marginally talented, like the chances of you like losing your vocal cords, like to get the nose job, I guess it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I'm very pro plastic surgery.
Well, I haven't done anything, but it's like my thing is when people talk about it, I would do it when I need it. It's like I don't need it now. Like I'm literally approaching 30, no wrinkles, so it's like I haven't had to do Botox or anything, and it's like I think I look good. Although I did have this one bitchy coworker who said like, "Oh yeah, I would definitely think you're 29." I'm thinking like, "Bitch, how dare you fucking say that I look my age? You
Don't call
fucking
me.
bitch."
God damn it.
It's like, how dare you, you ass.
I'm screaming.
But as I said, when I theoretically need it in like if I need it in like 20 years, I would do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I mean, you're pro. Well, what type of plastic surgery are you pro? Are you talking about like electives? Well, no, you're talking about everything. Like,
If you want to get it fixed or changed or plumped or primped, whatever you want to do, if you have to do that to feel good about yourself, baby, I want you to plump and primp and change everything.
and it's like sometimes. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you end up looking bad. It's either you look like Cher or you look like Madonna. Like,
Do your research. Yeah, do your fucking research. and know what you're getting yourself into. But if you got to do it, I say fucking do it.
Work.
Everyone's
So
going nuts with these fillers right now. I'm like, you know what? I think it looks good.
wait, you have fillers?
No, 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 no. I'm saying
Oh,
everybody else.
oh
I feel like every time I open Instagram, I see like, have you seen what's that fucking page called? Injector Chris, I think his name is, or whatever. This might be very specific to New York because I feel like everyone in New York is going to this guy called Injector Chris or something right now. And it's like everyone in New York has their face full of fillers right now.
yeah, it's like insane. As I said, it's like you could either you can look good or you can look like Mateo Blanco. Like that's just how how I say when somebody said like it's like what's the point of having like I mean, grits. I get wanting to change yourself, and as you said, let everybody do you. I don't get the thing of like getting huge, ginormous lips and like all that. It's like,
Like Big Ange. You don't understand Big Ange. You know what?
see, I can't even like watch clips of Big Ange anymore because every time I do, I just think of Pearl, like from Drag Race, and like,
I'm crying. Oh shit. I'm at less than 10%.
okay, we're gonna keep this going, and I'm
I'm
gonna actually answer. I'm gonna try and like rapidly run through some of the questions. Okay, because I don't want your phone to die. Like, okay. So, have you ever had a tip stolen from your body?
um yeah, absolutely. More than I'd like to admit, honestly.
People are disgusting.
No, they're the fucking worst. And you know what? I think I hate that, but I think what I hate more than that is recycling. So like when someone makes it rain,
Shit.
I that fills me with pure rage.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So, okay. Um, okay, so would you consider doing OnlyFans?
So I did have an OnlyFans for a minute, and I really hated it actually. It was people think that it's like this thing that you just like you sign up and then you just like post pictures or whatever. And like I guess yeah, you could do that, but like if you want to have like a actual decent curated feed and like page that like is worth the money that the people are spending on, it's like a lot of fucking work.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work. Like, first of all, you have to have quality content. So you have to be doing
right.
photo shoots with like actual photographers, which is a hassle to set up with people because it's like, well, OnlyFans isn't the only thing that I do. I'm a full-time performer. Like
Yes.
if I'm just sitting around, it's a miracle because I'm constantly in rehearsals or I'm constantly training or like I work out 5, 6 times a week to like stay in shape to do all the things that I do. It's like I'm on 6 days out of 7 days a week. So like,
Wow.
finding space to have a photo shoot of like my asshole is not my ideal use of time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'll answer this. The reason why I just wouldn't do it now, it's like I've thought about it, but it's like My thing is, I'm an artist. I don't want to sit there and have to be like, pay attention to me as a musician. But you did this shit on OnlyFans. Yes, but I'm a fucking artist. Like, I don't want to sit there and have like back and forth. And it's like, my talent should fucking speak for itself, but of course not, because people are closed minded.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So have you hooked up with someone who's tipped you?
As much as I would love to say no, it's gonna be a yes from. I'll take 200. I'll take yes for 200, Alex. Unfortunately, probably more than I'd like to admit on that as well. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. One of the funnest and like sluttiest times of my career was working on Fire Island, and yeah, we did Fire Island for like 3 years, and we would go out every weekend from like May to the end of August. So it's like a good like 4 months of just like
Yeah.
on this gay as fuck paradise. And we had a Friday show, but then I would also do a Saturday night like pop up moment. So
Yeah.
I would be on Fire Island literally all weekend, all summer. And the vibes are flowing, the money's flowing, people are hot as fuck on Fire Island. So like, yeah, can't really help it sometimes.
Well, you said you worked on Fire Island. Like, no more needs to be said.
I
Like,
mean, honestly, yeah. But I will say,
so
at home in the city, I try very, very hard to not have any kind of like personal stake in anything that I do in the club, because it's very much like I'm at work. And I think that's the one thing that most go-go boys forget, especially with like this new crowd of boys. It's like everyone like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Everybody thinks that it's a dating site or something. Cause I see a lot of boys coming dancing and like not making any fucking money, but they're like trying to go on dates with people, and it's like, girl, you're working. This is work. What the fuck? And they like have their friends come in, and their friends are just hanging out and just like watching shows and shit. And it's like, this is not what this is.
yeah, that seems crazy to like people would do that. My answer is it's very simple. It's only happened twice. Technically, one of the times was I'm using gay math here. One of the times was like 6 or 7 times with the same guy, so it only counts as once. But there was this guy with a crossdresser fetish, and like six, seven
Oh.
times after I performed, he's like, "Do you want your dick sucked?" I'm like, "Yeah." So this place I performed at in Orlando,
Does a pig love mud?
the gay person was like, he wanted to go like out and like there's a beach out back, and like so I let him like suck me off, and like he was glad to do it. I'm like, I will gladly do this whenever you want. And then the only other time was I was visiting at this point. So again, this place also had like a giant field where it's like a parking lot. So I went out with this guy to his car. He fucked me until he got nervous, and then, like all of a sudden he stopped when like another car pulled up. I'm thinking, bro, we're in a field in the middle of nowhere. These people that are pulling up next to you are probably coming to do the same fucking thing before they go into the club.
Oh my god, where the fuck is this?
What, you're talking about the place? It's not open anymore, unfortunately.
No, but like geographically.
It was in Orlando.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Orlando for like a year when I was 18.
Well, okay. Were you going out when you lived in Orlando at 18?
There was.
Okay. Parliament House?
That was probably the only place that we ever like regularly went to.
Yes. that's where this happened.
I was gonna say this sounds like some pea house bullshit.
That- that's where I used to perform. So like, yes,
This
this
is gi-
absolutely.
this is giving pea house bullshit.
Well, of course, you know P House. That's what it was known for. Like,
Oh yeah, and I think that was like why we went there. We were like, oh, we're feeling trashy tonight. Let's go to the Parliament House.
I was so sad when that place closed during the pandemic, which is why like my chances of like moving back to Orlando became zero after that.
Oh, are they
I'm
they're
like,
like shut down?
yeah, they had to shut down because of the they couldn't afford to keep it open. So literally, they shut down the Parliament House, and then like I think last year they knocked down everything.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Damn. Oh, I love that place.
I know. It was so like that's where I like went for my like 21st birthday. My sister took me on my 21st birthday there, and like there's so many magical memories, much like the ones I just said. So it's like that's why like in terms of so I have a friends with benefits who wants to move to like Orlando, and I'm thinking because he also wants to date me as too, and I'm like, bitch. I'm like, okay, fine, go live in Orlando for a year, and then trust. And then I'm thinking, trust, you're gonna come up to Detroit. You're gonna move your ass up to Detroit with me because you know you're gonna like it there better anyway because I'm there. And like as I said, if you run out of shit to do in Detroit, you literally drive 10 minutes. You're in Canada.
Whereas
So
Florida, Orlando, you drive 10 minutes, you're in a cow field.
yes, that's why Orlando. Yeah, Orlando's the fucking worst. Like
Armpit.
it was like as I said, it was great to live there for like 4 years and like discover myself, but that's not where you go back to. Like you don't stay in Orlando.
You
Like
don't work your way up to Orlando.
no. So okay, I know I'm gonna lose you probably, so I'm gonna do two more. So, what are your thoughts on how the LGBT community is being treated today?
Wait, say that one more time.
What are your thoughts on how the LGBT community is being treated today?
I like a nice hubby question. I mean, if we're not aware of current events and state of our being, I need you to literally like open your eyes one time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this is crazy. I think I think we've made great advancements in our government and like just as people. And it's so funny because before Trump got into office, I remember like just really thinking about how everything was like going so well. I was like, wow, we have like a really great president that's like making all these fucking like great things happen for us, and like our people are like doing the stuff for our people. And I was just like really full of like pride for being
right.
American. And then 2008 happened.
You mean
No, what?
2016?
Yeah, 2016. I was like, what fucking year was that? It was so bad.
Yeah,
It was like everything that we had like started to build was literally just like,
yeah,
and I feel like it's not been the same since then. We've just been on a constant downward motion. Um, but again, I think we're definitely doing the things like getting more of the LGBTQIA people into office and into the government has been
yes,
definitely a great step towards that. I think social media also, which sounds really stupid, but like the way that we can now connect with everyone around the world, literally like the whole world is connected now,
yes,
also makes it better for us because it's like, well, fuck, this fucking bullshit ass thing happening. I'm sorry, do you hear? One of my roommates is on Broadway and she's like rehearsing right now. Um, Social media helping
Yeah,
us, just like having visibility throughout the world is like really great. And like, especially for someone from, let's say, Russia, being like, well, maybe 20 years ago they've been like, well, this is fucking terrible. I'm gay in a very anti-gay country and I want to just like not be alive anymore. So they would unalive themselves. Whereas now it's
yeah,
like, oh fuck, I have options. I can get out of this country and go to any other place in Europe, basically, or like come to
yeah,
America, or like seek refuge in a different space and continue to live my.
absolutely.
I think we have a track, and I think that we can definitely get on it. But they're making it
Yeah,
hard. They're making it real hard for us.
yes, totally. I get that. Unfortunately, we have a little bit to do here in terms of the LGBT community, but it's like in some ways, I feel like our focus needs to be more international now, and eventually we can come back to America because America's about as good as it's gonna get.
In our current state, yes, I agree.
Yes. So okay, I know you said the last question's a little bit happier, which is what's the biggest misconception about you?
I don't know. Biggest misconception. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the only one that I didn't like try to pre-think about. um, I would say the biggest misconception about me is that I'm like a wild, crazy party animal person that's like just always unhinged and just like going fucking balls to the wall. But
Yeah.
actually, I'm a Libra and I'm a triple Libra and true to form Libra. So I'm like, if I'm out in the world, I'd like to portray that kind of image. But actually,
Right.
like, I'm home. If I'm not working or if I'm not performing, I'm home and I want to be seen by not a single fucking soul.
I mean, I kind of get that where it's like in some ways like being a creative person, it's like obviously you have to like at least for me, some people can create among people. I create when I'm isolated, so it's like that's why like as I say very recently I've been feeling isolated and then trapped. It's probably when I want to get out of Florida and it's like with that I've been able to write like crazy.
Oh yeah, I love
But
that. Yeah,
because
and you know what? I'll say the pandemic definitely changed a lot for me also. So like pre-pandemic, I was extremely introverted. I was like, I'll find any reason to go home and be a home alone.
yes.
I would literally like, people would be like, okay, let's go to this party. They'd be like, okay, we're done working. It's 2 a.m. It's still early. We could go to this party and we could go to that party and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I gotta go to bed. I'm sick of y'all. I can't even be around people anymore.
I mean, I get that where it's
But
so
I would crave isolation. And then, like I said, the pandemic happened and I had all that time to myself. It really changed it for me. And I'm like coming out on the other side. I now feel like I'm the opposite. I'm very much like, I've been home alone for an hour and I'm ready to just go headfirst into a group of people and just be their friends.
see, I mean, I can kind of get that. I guess my like terms of isolationistness, I don't know if that's a word, but I just said it. It's like if I lived in a city, I would have a completely different mindset on this. Being in a small town or small suburb, it's like there's nothing really to fucking do. Like
Mm.
literally bars stay open till 2 a.m., but everything else closes at like 11 p.m. So it's like
Ugh.
it's better to be at home anyway, because it's like once I'm in a city, I'll be out more. And it's like I'll be performing more. It's like now you do what you can. So like this podcast, my best friend like interviewed me on here and he's like, so when you move, how is everything going to work in terms of doing this podcast and doing music? And I'm like, I'll find a way to balance it out. And it's like, cause I love doing this and I also love music. So it's like, I'll find a way to like balance it out and make it work. For
Yes.
me, yes, totally. For me, there's two very simple ones. Well, actually, there's two ones. One of them is that I'm intimidating. Eh, I mean, I can get it if you don't like come up and talk to me wearing sunglasses in the like bar and like wearing a bodysuit and wearing heels and being like 6'6" to like 6'8", sometimes maybe even like 6'10". I can get why you'd be intimidated, but have a conversation with me.
7 feet in heels.
I have a pair of Frankenstein boots. Yes, I don't wear them that often because it's hard to like find places to like sit if I need to, especially if I need to be under a table. I have to like sit there and like put my feet to the side, just like fit under a table. It's insane.
Also, just like elevation, like breathing up there is probably different.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I used to perform in those. I used to remember it's like I would have to like stop dancing as much because it's like your body's not used to like being up high and like trying to belt.
Come on, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And the last one is that or the other one is that I'm shady. I don't think I'm shady. I'm honest.
Which is
And
most usually the one that's confused for being like misconstrued as rude and shady is like, no, bitch, I'm just telling you what it is.
it's like because some people are like, but why can't you just like keep your opinion to yourself? And it's like, well,
I
I
could,
could, I could,
but am I
but
going to?
I'm not going to. And it's like the people who always like keep their opinions to themselves and like never let anything out. Those are the people that die at like 52. If you run your mouth, I unfortunately thought I was gonna be dead by now. So it's like morbid, but true. But it's like it's like now I'm gonna keep running my mouth. That's why I was running my mouth for so many years. Because I thought like, well, if I'm dead at 25, it's like not gonna be a problem at all. But it's like now I'm almost 30. I'm like, fuck, maybe I need to like shut up. Maybe I need to not tell
What's
people.
that little girl? She said, "I'm not gonna be a part of the problem. I'm gonna be the whole problem." I agree, girl. She must have been a Libra because I feel the same way.
See, I am not a Libra, but like
What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's giving Aquarius. Do you know what your big three are?
my the big three. Yeah. So I'm Cancer, and then I'm double Pisces.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. The Pisces. I
Yep.
was gonna say Pisces. Yeah, yeah. You get Pisces energy.
Yes. That's why, like, what is it? My friends with benefits is he's a main Pisces, but he's double Cancer, and it's like, well, that's why we get along so well. It's like you can calm my ass down.
I don't know all that
But
water though.
well, this is the thing. I make it work because he's a black guy with a big dick, and like he knows how to work me.
I'm
So
crying.
that's the other reason for me to move to Detroit because it's like everyone's like, "Are you scared?" I'm like, scared of what?
Scared of falling on some good dick? Yes, I am.
Like, trust. I lived in the hood in Orlando. I was fine. I used to my front door used to be like Disney World for black dick, but it's like I just I learned how to fucking deal with them.
It's Black History Month. How dare you do this?
That's what? What?
Oh
I already
wait, you know
said.
what? Let me add something to my answer for the last one. Is
Go ahead.
I'll agree is that I think people in the past have definitely also said like, oh, Blaine's intimidating because I'm like I am pretty shy. Like if you meet me in person, I'm not gonna talk to you until you talk to me. But it's only because I don't want you to get the wrong idea of me. So I don't want you to have any idea of me. So,
I feel
so I
I
don't
feel like
speak,
I feel a girl. I'm the same way.
right? So I'll have the resting bitch face, and I'll sit in the corner by
Yeah.
myself until one person says, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Hi, I'm blah 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 blah," and then we're like sisters. But before that, everyone's like, "Oh, Blaine's got a bad attitude. Blaine don't talk to no bitch. Blaine stank is fucking a corner by himself." It's also a little bit of like I don't want to be caught up in nobody's drama. I wanna be close enough to watch the drama, but I don't want to be in the drama.
See, that's my thing. I get that, but it's like sometimes it's not causing drama. Sometimes it's pointing out facts that can cause drama.
Period.
Like
Which I'm
all I
down with.
did,
Too.
yeah. It's like all I did was what was it? Something that quote unquote could have caused drama. There was this drag queen who's like, so I went to an event like out of drag one time, and like she didn't know who I was, and she was like got drunk off her ass, and when she was like working on the mic, she was hitting on me, and I let
Period.
her, I let her do it because I thought it was funny. Like, but there's the other part of me that wanted to be like, bitch, you fucking know who I am, like,
I'm screaming.
but I let her do it. I'm like, because I will say this, like, I show up to places and I am sober. It's not like I'm like completely sober where like I can't take alcohol. It's just the fact of I had a night where like I was handed way too many drinks by people. People just kept on like buying me shit, and I was young and didn't know how to say no. I'm good. And then I got in my car and I had to drive an hour home. And then about 45 minutes in the drive, I got pulled over by a cop. And my dad came and saved me. Otherwise, I would have gotten a DUI. So it's like I just learned that like if I gotta drive and perform, it's better for me to be sober.
Yeah, what are you doing, crazy?
Well, in my defense, like a drunk person, I thought I was more sober than I actually was.
You know what? One of the worst reasons I've heard someone give for drunk driving, or like excuses, I should say, was like, I'm a better driver when I'm drunk. I'm like, bitch. Now who the fuck told you that?
What?
You told yourself that? Because I don't believe it.
That's like saying I get smarter when I smoke a joint. Like it's like it's like the, the correlation in correlating. Like
That's
there's no
like saying
way.
go-go boys are smart. That's like hiring a go-go boy to teach quantum physics. I can't even spell quantum. Quantium. Quantum physics. Physics.
Wait, wait.
Iszys. Physics. Quantum physics. Oh my god, this is stupid. I'm going off the rails here, kid.
I don't fucking care. Like work. I love it. Literally to the two thing you said with Black History Month, I literally said what was it? I decided if I was going to do stand up comedy at any point, I have the like perfect joke that theoretically some people say is racially insensitive. I
Uh,
just think it's pointing out a historical fact.
uh-oh. Don't tell.
I'm gonna go into it. It's like
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
it's like obviously I've been with a lot of black guys, so like my joke is I've been fucked by so many black guys, my ass is a stop on the Underground Railroad.
My mom's calling me. I gotta answer
Yeah. Yeah.
that. You know what? My mom is
Yeah.
calling me right now, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
go. I'm gonna pick that up, and I'm just gonna
I'm
go.
I know I'm gonna like I'm
I'm
gonna
just
sign
kidding.
out with oh I was like
Oh, here's my hat. Um, not to make it morbid or anything, but actually, my mom died 10 years ago.
well, I mean as I said before, my mom what is it? I'm trying to do the math. 11? No. More than 11, God. Um 14? Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, 14 years.
Because let's see, yeah, 2012 to this year's 14, right? Yeah, I think that
12.
sounds right.
No, it's 12 years.
It is 12 years. Okay, I clearly I didn't finish college, so like,
Come on. Spell quantum physics.
I think I could do better than you can. Than you definitely did. I think it's quantum. QUATM. I want to
KW.
say the
Definitely,
KW.
it definitely starts with a K, a W. There might be a U and there might be an I in there in the beginning. I'm not certain.
Shit, I gotta look. Quantum physics. Maybe it does start with a K.
No,
As I said, no, it starts with a Q. It starts with a Q. Like,
QUANTUNM or TUM.
so that's close.
Yeah.
The-
Quantum.
And then physics is
FI.
P physics. So it's P.
FYP.
Fuck, I don't know.
PHSYCHICS.
Yeah, I
Come
was
on.
thinking of this.
Okay. I
And
think the only real way to end this is wait, are we allowed to do nudity on this?
nudity in like what way?
And like, can I show you my ass?
I think so. Uh,
A little peekaboo moment, right?
yeah,
They're gonna shut us down for this.
I don't get shut down for anything. Like,
Hey.
I'm like, maybe if I did actual porn, Twitch might ban it. But it's like you just showed your ass. Like, well, as I said, I literally did it on a Twitch stream in a thong. Like, I didn't get in trouble for that.
I basically did as much as you did.
Yeah, I only get in trouble on TikTok. Like, that's
Oh, I've had my account on Instagram taken down like twice now.
for what? Well, I know for probably for what. It's like,
Yeah. Well, that's actually, what's funny is so there was a moment in time when there was a thing called a FOSTA SESTA law that went into effect. And that's really what fucked us over on the internet because it was this thing that was trying to stop sex trafficking. And it was a law that went into effect that was censoring like sexual stuff. Not to get too deep into it, because I could go on about this all fucking night. Internet, and I say almost because it didn't get very as deep as it wanted to get. But when that law went into effect, that's when we started having all of the shadow banning and all of the like not to be redundant in saying the word censoring, but censorship
Yeah.
on Instagram. And pre that was actually how I started getting like visible on Instagram, was because I was literally posting a lot of like almost nude.
Oh. Well, I think his phone finally died. So, anyway, with that being said, God, this wig looks a hot mess. This is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond. I hope you've enjoyed.